On this episode of Big Drive Energy, we're back after a week hiatus. Mitchell has officially moved cross country, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the move. I got fitted for some new sticks and ordered some new irons, so we'll discuss that. We're going to discuss Sahith Theegala, one of our guys, finally breaking through and winning on the PGA Tour. And then we're going to talk about social media golf stuff that annoys us. There's a long list of it, and we're going to get into a few things that really bother us, being who we are and being in the golf business, but also the profession of golf, and then seeing what we see from the other end of the counter, just what drives us crazy about that. And of course, this is all brought to you by the guys, the company, Pins and Aces, our presenting sponsor. We are big Pins and Aces guys. I actually just got home from the warehouse at Pins and Aces to grab some stuff for our final tournament tomorrow. Got some beer sleeves. Everybody's getting some Pins and Aces tees, ball markers. Got some hats, some great new head covers that they've got rolling out. And Mitchell, you can speak to the new fall line. It's sick.
Oh yeah, the new fall line is unbelievable. A few like really low key like spade prints, which are awesome, but then there's one with a bunch of ducks on it, which it's called like that's not called a deconstructed duck. It's like something like
Wow.
that.
You're already failing. You don't know this.
No, I don't know. What do you know what it's called?
I think it's mallard, something mallard.
Well, but okay, that's a duck. But it has a bunch of ducks on it, which is fire. There's a few other awesome like neon type prints, a few shirts that I grabbed you. But yeah, I'm head to toe, and I've got like 5 boxes of Pins and Aces stuff coming my way. It's not all for me. There you go. There's the golf hoodie. But some of the new head covers are awesome. Obviously, always the beer sleeve, the new liquor stick they're dropping, the hats. They just always bring the heat, and the new golf bag. I got the new golf bag. So freaking sick. Like looks so clean. I got the gray one. It was between the gray or the black because the white. I've had white golf bags, and I just get them too dirty too quickly. So I went with the gray, but sleek design, super nice, super high end, plenty of storage space. Really like a true player's golf bag, and it's super light too for what it looks like. It looks like it's gonna be very heavy, and it's actually very light. So just really well put together. And then there's actually a cool feature. There's a little magnet in like the back of the handle, and then in the back of a Pins and Aces like speaker, there's a magnet, so you can stick your speaker to the back of your golf bag, which is awesome. But just
Damn, Daniel. You need to
yeah,
start saying we, not they. It's not they anymore. It's we.
I know that's weird. I
It's weird having a job.
yeah, it is kind of weird having a job. I'm not super familiar with it, but like it truly is a company that I feel passionately about. That's why I'm working for them here, and just so many new good designs. Go check out their website, pinsandaces.com. Use code BDE to get yourself 15% off and free shipping. I think that is the first time I've ever done that before, but there you have it.
Mitchell's first read. Well done.
Woo! I
Fucking
just heard you do it 10 times, so I have it memorized.
all sorts of things going down. But yes, use promo code BDE at pinsandaces.com. Save yourself 15% off. The new liquor stick drops tomorrow. I was talking to Liam. They're getting 2,700 in tomorrow and then like 27,000 next week sometime. So really cool design. And if you've had the liquor stick before, like, not everything is perfect, and this is a brand new design. And so there was some issues with the pumps and all this stuff. So they said they fixed all of that, and he was joking that like he was like, yeah, like we have 25 liquor sticks back there that are just parted out from the pump issues that people. He's like half the emails we get about issues are pump issues on the liquor stick. So they're hopefully fixing all of that. The first time something comes out, it's always new and you never know exactly what you're going to get, but they're the only ones that have that. And Pins and Aces is re-releasing the liquor stick, so make sure to check that out. Use our promo code BDE and you're saving yourself 15% off of that liquor stick that you can put in your bag, put a head cover on, a Pins and Aces head cover preferably, and carry a full 750 around the course if you want. Tito's
I
vodka,
actually I actually just put
Breckenridge
together.
Distillery.
Yeah, I put together Missy's new bag because I brought her out a new golf bag because she had like the Callaway kind of old, like not the cart bag, and she didn't like that. So I brought her out a new golf bag, and I put the liquor stick in there for her. threw a Pins and Aces head cover on it, and it's just like another wood in the bag. It's so perfect.
Damn, love that. Is that the first liquor stick you threw in her bag this week or what?
Yes, it is.
Good for
It
you.
certainly is. Anything of that magnitude for sure.
That thing is girthy. The liquor
Yeah,
stick has got some girth.
that thing's like a fire hose. I'm not, I don't have that kind of depth. Okay, we can finish up this ad read.
All right, let's tee it up.
Hello, friends. Welcome to this tradition unlike any.
What was that, Did somebody scream mashed potatoes?
That was mashed.
All right, let's start here. I think you owe me an apology. So as well, that too, but as we know, Mitchell's moved to New Jersey. And, this is our first podcast since you moved. And interestingly enough, this is my first podcast home alone with my kid. So for those of you on the YouTube, you're getting a quick view of my son while sleeping, ideally through this entire hour.
His fucking crib.
Ideally through this entire hour, but there may be some segmented scenarios in here. But
Social Security card while you're at it, so
dude,
fucking identity.
I like this. I like it. I like this little view I've got. I've got the view of you and then him. So
he's gonna be taller than me by the time he's like 4 years old.
He's gonna dwarf you
which
quickly.
Will be beneficial for him because he can actually play sports besides golf. Love golf, but hopefully, it's Spencer and I. Well, Spencer's I'm just the uncle here, but I think we agree that if Sawyer can somehow become tight end of the Iowa Hawkeyes at some point, I think Spencer would die a happy man, regardless of whatever else happens from there. We are huge Hawkeyes fans, and that's just tight end you. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think Spencer just wants him to be a tight end. And if not, I told him to get the golf clubs in his hands at a young age. So that'll be happening. Are you going to teach him to swing right-handed or left-handed?
I'm ideally going to force him to do everything left-handed, but we'll see. We'll see how that works out.
Like a middle reliever in the MLB that throws like 89, but he's a lefty, so he gets a shot. Like, I mean, that's.
Yeah. I mean, you only, when you're left-handed, you only get to play a few positions in baseball, but the golf clubs are cheaper. They're always on clearance. You got to think these things well ahead of time.
But they're also harder to find. That is
true.
Thing. Yeah, you really got to scour the internet for that. But what am I apologizing to you for?
You're apologizing to me because now that you're a full-time employee at Pins and Aces, you came crawling to my door asking for my PGA login last week. And so I'll let you take the floor and tell people how that came about and then give my formal apology.
Yeah. So I would say that the PGA, I'm not going to say it's worthless because it's not. There's a lot of good things about it. But for what I'm doing, it is very beneficial to have a PGA directory login, which I do not have my own. So I stayed in the PGM program for like a week and a half. So I don't think I got a login at that point. I don't think they were going to sign me. Yeah. My accomplishments, like it has your list of Spencer's list of like staying PGA status, quote unquote, and what he needs to do. I would have literally zero of that filled out. So I did not have my own login, and I had to ask Spencer for his login, which was a great benefit. But I've just been scouring the PGA directory for everywhere in the New Jersey and Philadelphia areas. And you know what does suck though is I talked to Justin Serbo, our old boss, and he goes, "Oh yeah, like half of the emails that dudes have listed on their PGA directory are not emails that they use." Like, so I got about like 40 courses in, and I was getting all these like at pga.com, at AOL.com, at hotmail.com. And I'm like, these aren't these dudes' fucking emails. So it's made my search process a lot longer because now I go to the directory, I find the course, I find the director of golf or the, whatever man's in charge that I can sell some wares to. And then
Man or woman.
yeah, man or woman. I've found a few. I have not found a single woman director of golf yet. I've found a few like merchandisers that are women. I think actually I was on like golfphilly.com, which they have like 4 courses, and I think their head sales person is a female. So I'm looking forward to reaching out to her. But basically, I'm having to go through and like triple check to see if their email is verified on their website and see if it's the same email. So it's taken me, I mean, I'm 3 days in now and I've got about 100 or 4 days kind of, and I've got like 100, I feel like somewhat solid contacts built up in a Google spreadsheet, which I don't know if this comes as a surprise to anybody. I've never used a Google spreadsheet before in my life. So I had to ask Spencer. Spencer's been a great help. This is the thing, is he's the logistics guy. And I'm the ideas guy and the content, I bring the personality. So I had to lean on Spencer for a little bit of help in a few different areas. He's going to help me kind of put together my introduction email to all these different places. But honestly, what I've discovered is how many cool, like there's this resort in North Jersey, almost like on the New York, New Jersey border. Oh, what the fuck is it called? I know they have
the one on Hose Lane.
I think that was Rutgers golf courses on Hose Lane, like HOES. So yes, that's a kind of a shock first time you see it. But this resort has I think it's called Crystal Springs or Rock. I think it is Crystal Springs. It's got like 6 golf courses. This resort looks like unbelievable. They do like outdoor music festivals. So basically it just kind of has given me an opportunity to like see all these different places and all these different, like, not see them, but like, just kind of discover all the different places there is that I'm hopefully going to be going around to and maybe playing at some point. But there's this one place in like right on the New York, New Jersey border, and it's a country club called the Tuxedo Club. And I was like, that is like one of the coolest names for a country club I've ever heard.
Yeah, Nate McLean from college worked there.
No shit.
Yeah, and I don't know if he still does or used to, but yeah, he worked at the Tuxedo Club, and maybe it was one of his internships, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that place looks unbelievable. Like, there's a whole thing on their website about how you literally can't post it on I think you can post stuff on social media, but you can't tag them like at your location. Like, they have all these rules against, like, they shun publicity pretty much. It's a very, very like high end spot, which it looks unbelievable, but I doubt I'll ever be playing out there. So there's just a few like really, really cool spots. So now I'm trying to get down into the Philly area. A few Ron Jaworski's courses. If any of you know who Ron Jaworski is, turns out he owns like 6 golf courses in the Philadelphia area. And Spencer, it sounds like you're going to be putting together like a tournament.
We're going to help.
Oh, I'm going to help. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
This is a we thing.
Let me know what I can do. I'm not very versed in anything else, but whatever I can do to help, I'll put the golf balls in the carts and shit. That's something I'm capable of. But don't you have like a meeting with Jaworski like next week or something?
Yeah, I've got a meeting with Ron Jaworski, next week to discuss one of his golf courses being the host of our first tournament in Philly, PHLY, which we just opened next week. Can't wait to do that. When I was flying into Philadelphia, there's a golf course right on the water It looked sick. I looked it up, something Rivers, but it's really close to the airport.
That
And it
checks
looked
out.
so sick. Yeah, it was dope. But it was funny because Mitchell and I, Mitchell was like, when we were on the phone this morning, he goes, "How do you know like what his courses are? Do you know what his golf courses are?" And then, I mean, you can finish the story, but
Well, yeah, I was looking through the directory, and literally the first thing it says on any of his courses is Ron Jaworski's country club. Like, it literally just is in your face. Like, there's nothing low key about Jaworski owning these places. And I mean, at first I was like, that's kind of almost like gaudy to like put it out there so much that Jaws owns. For some reason, I want to call him Wojo, but that's Adrian Wojnarowski, whatever.
wow,
But
good one.
what?
Ward. Oh, now saying it
Oh,
out
no,
loud.
yeah, Wojnarowski.
Wojnarowski.
What? Wow, that's remember that video is like buttery crispy crust or buttery flaky
Buttery
crust.
crispy
And he
flake.
kept saying buttery crispy flake. That's like us trying to say fucking Woj Bomb's name right now. But no, they literally just on all of Jaws's golf courses, they're like Ron Jaworski's Silver Spring, Silver Tip, Silver Leaf, whatever country club.
Buttery crispy flake.
Buttery crispy flake country club. No, so I just thought that was funny because I was like, I wonder if I'm gonna find like his courses that he owns, and it's just right out there. So they're pretty unashamed about their marketing to get people. And I think Jaws is like a very big like New Jersey, like he's a big New Jersey dude. I think he loves like same with like Brian Baldinger. A lot of these NFL dudes are like big New Jersey guys. Like I think Baldy, like he's a diner fanatic, and that's the one thing that is very popular out here that is almost non-existent in Denver is just like a diner. Like there's a diner in every town out here. That just like a little hometown diner. They do like, sandwiches, breakfast, they do the whole bit, and then like homemade pies and all that. There's like a diner in every single town here in Denver. I feel like that's not a thing. So I guess Baldy is very into like trying all these new diners and like picking his favorite, but they literally all look the exact same. They're like the old school kind of like not shutters on the old school awnings on the outside. They just look so much like a diner. So we've ordered Uber Eats a few times. I've gotten like an egg salad sandwich and shit. It all slaps. So like that is one thing I think out here is, I mean, all the food is very, very good, but then you can kind of find a diner in whatever town you're in, and you kind of know what food you're getting because it's going to be just fucking class A.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much I can say or should say, but the name Brian Baldinger should ring a bell here pretty hard pretty soon.
Yeah,
So
is he a Philly guy?
yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't
Okay.
know what I'm allowed to say and not say, but
Oh, okay. We're getting a little
but Ba-
snippets here.
but Bald, yeah, but we'll know Baldy pretty well. So
Fuck yeah, I like that. We might have to get on the golf course with Baldy. Um, but let me get into uh, I was going to say get into my drive. The drive was relatively uneventful. I mean, it ended up taking me 26 hours. Um, what I will say, so I stopped in Iowa, saw our family, stopped in Lincoln, Nebraska first. My mom was riding with me out to Iowa, stopped in Lincoln. It's actually, I hate to admit it because I hate the Huskers, but Lincoln's a low key, like pretty cool college town. Stayed right in like right near campus. There's a really cool like couple streets full of restaurants and bars and all that. Um, and it just like blows my mind how cheap like college towns still are because we went to mom and I had a couple cocktails at like the hotel bar, and then we go over to this Mexican place and get like tacos, and I had one drink and then we got an appetizer. The bill was like 30 with tip was like $42, and I had a double cocktail. I had 3 tacos, she had 2 tacos, and we had an appetizer, and that was including tips. So like how inexpensive that shit is out there was just phenomenal. I was like, God, I love this shit. Um, but then we went to Cedar Falls, Iowa, home of our dad, Stu Smith, and it was just very cool. I hadn't been back there in a while, so very cool going around town. Cedar Falls is actually very on the come up. Like very kind of cool, trendy, like Midwestern town. The main street's awesome. There's a bunch of cool bars, restaurants. So then I went from there. The longest I did in one day was Iowa to Cleveland, which took me about 9 hours, not a little over 9. And I did that by myself, which wasn't terrible. I had a bunch of podcasts lined up. So I pretty much just listened to podcasts and ate cold pizza on the road and tried not to crash the car. I think I only stopped twice. Like, that is the one thing about driving by yourself as a dude, is you don't have to pee near as often. Like, we'll just say it, as your female counterpart. Like, that's just a fact. So I only stopped twice in a 9-hour drive, whereas we probably would have stopped 4 or 5 times. If I had somebody else in the car. And then I stayed the night in Cleveland. I stayed Friday night in Cleveland. Actually very cool. Like, I didn't see much of it, but I was impressed. So I stayed at the Hilton downtown. Awesome hotel, like super nice. They had a rooftop bar which overlooked the dog pound. Oh yeah, fun fact for everybody. Spencer didn't know Cleveland, Ohio was on one of the Great Lakes. Can you just deliberate a little bit on this for me?
Yeah, I had no clue. I thought every city, I didn't even think Ohio had water, to be honest. Like, every state has like a few ponds and smaller lakes, but I didn't
Okay,
know
but
it was
you've
like,
been to Chicago and you've seen like Lake Michigan, so you didn't
yeah,
know that there
but
was
I
other
didn't,
lakes like that.
not really. No, I thought Lake Michigan was like one of its own kind of. I know there's Great Lakes up around Michigan. Like, if I was in Michigan, I would have understood, but Ohio, to me, it doesn't make sense that there's just this massive body of water. Ohio feels like a non-coastal area to me.
Well, it's not a coastal area, but it has a very large lake that it's connected to. I know we're not a geographical podcast. We never say that we are, but the fact that Spencer doesn't know that, like, I sent him a picture from the rooftop bar and he goes, "Is that the Cleveland Browns stadium?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm in Cleveland. And he's like, "I didn't know it was on the water. What's that water?" I'm like, Jesus, you're such a dipshit. So I stayed the night in Cleveland. Then my girlfriend flew out to Cleveland and we drove Cleveland to New Jersey on Saturday. So that was like 6.5 hours. So it was quite the trek, but I made it out here. I've got one bone to pick, and I don't know if I've talked about this on the pod. So I got rear-ended like 2.5 weeks ago. I've literally never been in a car accident. Dude, so yeah, I think I texted you about this, but so I get rear-ended. Long story short, obviously it's not my fault. When you rear end somebody, it's pretty much all your fault. Really, no disputing it. So I was like, well, fuck, like, I'm planning on leaving in a week. And my car is obviously drivable. I don't even have like a tail light out. It's like one of the lights that's on like the bumper, but it's not a tail light, I guess, if that makes sense. So I was like, I'm fine to drive it, but I'm going to have to figure out once I get out here, like, get the body work done, whatever. But I still hadn't heard back from the lady's insurance company. So I called them the day it happened, like 30 minutes after it happened. I didn't hear back for 2.5 weeks. So then I called them again on like Monday and I was like, can I, like, what's the status on this? Like, can I go, get a quote, get an estimate? And the dude goes, well, we determined that you were at 50% liability and she was at 50% liability. Like, it was somehow half my fault. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what? I was like, can you tell me, like, what about this is my fault? And the lady goes, well, would you like to be like moved like claims adjusters? And I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I do. Like, I'm obviously this is not my fault whatsoever. So why should I, I think they just expect you to shut up and like eat it. So I was like, no, can I get somebody else? Luckily, I had this lady call me back like 30 minutes later and be like, hey, I looked at your file. You were 100% not at fault. I went ahead and pushed it through for you. Like, I was shocked because I was just, whenever you're dealing with insurance, with anything, you're just ready to get fucked. Like, you're just prepared to bend over, even if it's not your fault. Like, it was not my fault, but I still was like, this insurance company's going to give me the runaround. They're going to, do this and that. This is going to take months. And that's the biggest pain in the ass about any of it is like, getting rear-ended. I wasn't hurt. Nobody was hurt. It's just dealing with the logistical bullshit of setting it up and, dealing with the insurance companies. And that lady just came through so clutch for me. She was like, I put in a call to that person that wrote that you're at 50% liability and basically explained to him that that's impossible. And this is from the same insurance company. So I was like, holy shit, somebody here has a fucking brain that I can talk to. So that was like a minor miracle of mine because I was getting ready to wreak havoc on State Farm Insurance. And, I don't have very much internet clout, but I was going to definitely shoot off some angry tweets about it. But here we are. So now I just need to get my car fixed. And other than that, I've just been fucking, getting acclimated. Still haven't put all my shit away. I ordered a dresser because my girlfriend has a problem with ordering clothes. Her clothes is all over the place. She has way too much of it. And she knows. So she has a closet full. She probably has 60 pairs of shoes. She has 2 dressers full. And then still like Tupperwares of clothes. And she's given away like 4 or 5 like garbage bags full. So she does a number on the fucking clothes. The only person I'd say I've seen with that much clothes has got to be you, Spencer. You've got a whole fucking room dedicated. You basically have a room that's your closet.
Yeah. I just went through and organized that. I went to
You call it an office, but it's really a closet.
Yeah, it's really just a closet. There's shoes, there's hoodies, there's all my makeshift dresser essentially. There's no, it's a great spot. But now that you've left, which was very sad, but now I have my golf closet back. So the room you were staying in is now my golf closet. And I went through the other day.
Busted into my room while I was fucking asleep and had to get in your golf closet. I'm like, Jesus, fucking respect my privacy.
Yeah, respect that the fucking sun is up and you're just some hibernating bear that just fucking sleeps in now.
Because I sleep till 8 o'clock.
It's like Mitchell and I used to be like the kids that got up early and were like early-ish to bed, but then early, wake up grinders. And now Mitchell, you go in there at fucking 6 a.m. He's got 3 dried zins on the bed, is fucking flopped over, snoring with a podcast on. Like that's what you see if you see Mitchell before 8 a.m.
Yeah, dude. That's
quite the scene.
I mean, like, in all honesty, if I don't need to wake up early, then why wake up early? Like, I think the whole like
get your day going. It's a good process for your life.
See, but that's just because you have an infant child that wakes you up. If you give me a break. When you started at DNVR, you were fucking sleeping in, you were chilling, you were, we're just at different stages in our lives, and that's okay. But you don't be salty because you're up at 4 a.m. with a crying child, and I'm fucking sawing logs, just absolutely zonked out.
No, I will say it's getting harder, and I think it's directly correlated to the sun and like the how dark it is. But it's getting harder for me to wake up at like 6 anymore. Like 6 is usually my normal like sweet spot time. Like even if my kid's not crying, like 6 a.m. is a fine time for me to get up. 6:30. I'm usually, if I go to bed at 10:30.
Just wait for the winter when it's dark until 8 a.m. and you're gonna be.
Dude, I know. I just get in such a fat boy mood where I just don't want to do anything. I just want to fucking stay warm.
A hibernating bear mood. That's
yeah.
Get in. I'm like, oh yeah, this shit's good.
No,
well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like 6 a.m. is getting tougher and tougher now that the sun comes up at 7. But we got a golf tournament tomorrow in Monument, and I have to be there around 6:30, so I'm gonna be up at 5. Should be fun. I'm gonna pound myself full of energy drinks, and life is good.
But there is something satisfying too about waking up early when you don't have to do it all the time. Like when I would come like do stuff, help you set up for a tournament or whatever, and I had to be up at like 5. It is nice to be up that early every once in a while, but it's not when you have to do it like 5 days a week. Like when we were working at the course, we would cherish the one day that, we came in at 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock or whatever, instead of having to be up at the ass crack of dawn. But now that it's more of a choice and not a requirement, I think it makes it a little easier to get up that early. So
yeah, it when it ruins the night before, That's when like getting up early just kind of really sucks.
When it's like 7 p.m. and you're already thinking about waking up to go to work, that's the absolute fucking worst. Like you're just trying to enjoy, like, especially if you're in your early 20s, you're trying to go out, maybe enjoy yourself, go to the bars, whatever. And then it's that constant game of math in your head about what time I can go to sleep and what time I can wake up and how many hours I can get and be okay. Like it's midnight and you got to be up at 5 a.m. and you keep looking at your phone and like, you're like, it's just something that fucking being an adult, you got to deal with if you have a job where you have to wake up early. So that is something I definitely don't miss. I enjoy my sleep now, and I can't say I'm pissed off about it.
No, I wouldn't be pissed off about it. I will say, dude, just in general, I don't understand like people that have all these kids. Like, I don't fucking get it. It's literally like borderline impossible, I feel like, to live your life and have a kid. And well, I guess I should put it this way. Like if you can, I can function on little sleep, and like I pride myself on functioning on little sleep, always have, where I'm not like, those people. I used to have a roommate, I won't mention her name, but every time you ask her how she's doing, tired. It's a fucking most annoying thing in the entire planet when somebody, all they can say is, I'm tired. I don't give a fuck if you're tired. I asked how you're doing, good or bad. And I don't care if you're bad either. Just say you're good like every other normal fucking person and move on. I don't care.
Right. But, like I'm giving you the courtesy of asking in the first place. Next time I just won't ask you.
Yeah. But like I am like legitimately tired. And then it's for me, it's the first like half an hour. But once I'm past that and I either get a cup of coffee or just wake up enough, like looking at my phone sends me into like a massive awake feeling. Which is a disaster at night if I'm going to bed. But if I wake up in the morning, like if I start looking at my phone and my kid's not crying and I don't have to take care of him right away, it wakes me up. But I want to give a shout out to not only my wife, but just moms or dads or whoever in general that like stay home with their kids or like deal with kids most of the day. Like yesterday was the first day that she went to work, and buddy, she left at 3:30. At 3:50 he fell asleep, and I was like, oh fucking thank God. Then at 3:57, I mean, that's a little, I just remember because I was so ticked off, the Amazon driver came and dropped off my new pickleball set, which I'm hyped about. But he came and dropped off my pickleball set, and the fucking dog started barking, and he woke up, and then he was awake and crying basically for the next 2.5 to 3 hours. Couldn't do anything. I could not do anything about it. Couldn't make it better. Tried to, like I could feed him and then he'd cry again. I was like, dude, I wanted to jump out the window. And it was my first like 3 hours.
You got to slip him a little bit of that Breckenridge Distillery whiskey. Just a few drops on the gums.
Just we haven't got there yet. But speaking of Breckenridge Distillery whiskey is the best whiskey in the entire world. We drink it all the time. We have it at our tailgates. We've always got bottles. We're going to be giving away a couple of bottles tomorrow at our golf tournament. So make sure you're drinking Breck Distillery. They've got the Broncos bourbon. They are the official bourbon of the Denver Broncos, and they've got the Broncos bourbon contest going on right now, where if you take a picture and you submit it and kind of you use the hashtag, essentially, it's called Parting Shots. We leave you with our game predictions in Colorado's favorite bourbon whiskey. All you do is take a picture, hashtag Breck Bourbon or Broncos Bourbon, excuse me, and you can win 2 tickets to the Breckenridge Broncos Bourbon Distillery Suite for the Broncos Chargers game on December 31st. All you do is post a photo on IG or Facebook using hashtag Broncos Bourbon. And at December 1st, it'll be narrowed to 10 people. And then from December 4th to 10th, there will be those fan votes will determine those last 10 people. And then they're going to win tickets to the Broncos Distillery, the Broncos Breck Bourbon Distillery Suite, which I want to be in. I want to be in a distillery suite for a game. I already get pretty lit on my own just being not in the suite, so I can only imagine what I'd be like in the suite. And they just came out with the Broncos Blizzard, which is a new vodka commemorating the first white alternate Broncos helmet. It's the world. Breckenridge, as we know, is the world's highest distillery and is most widely known for their blended bourbon, a high rye mash American style whiskey. Our Breck bourbon is one of the most highly craft bourbons in the United States. It's an award-winning spirits offering an immersive guest experience. They have an award-winning restaurant. They have cocktails that are in our bar here at DNVR. They have Ricky seltzers now made with Breck spirits, and they're always at DNVR bar watch parties and Broncos tailgates. We got tweeted or X'd. I'm striving hard to call it X. But we got tweeted some pictures of people that drank Breck Distillery, and they tweeted at us. So shout out to them. Thank you, Breck, and thank you for tweeting at us. If you're drinking Breck Distillery, fucking tweet it up at us. We love to see anybody drinking anything that's not water. I fucking hate water. Also want to tell you guys about Burrito Express, which is in Arizona. If you guys are down in AZ, they have 6 locations for Burrito Express. My favorite burrito is the steak breakfast burrito with no cheese. I'm a no cheese guy. They have multiple Arizona locations, and the best one is in Tempe. I love that one right by the campus. They support a ton of Arizona State athletics and athletes. They have a funny TikTok, Burrito Express. Those guys are awesome. Like if you meet the actual guys, I met them at the golf tournament this past year. They're awesome. So make sure you check out Burrito Express. Get over to your local Burrito Express in Arizona. When we go down there, we're going to go down there sometime this winter, this fall. We'll definitely be stopping at Burrito Express. First thing when we get there, getting our food, getting our bellies full before we go and drink Breckenridge Distillery, probably. So Burrito Express, make sure to check them out if you're in the great state of Arizona. Also want to tell you guys about our friends over at Bet365. Bet365 is the only place we do our betting now on golf, on other sports, unfortunately. I have had some pretty bad weekends the last 2 weekends with NFL football. That's just how it goes, though. You know, I'll see my way back. But if you sign up for Bet365, you get $365 in bonus bets when you bet just $1. No matter what sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. They've got football, they've got so many sports, and we're going to get back into our Big Bet Energy Weekly for the PGA Tour, presented by Bet365. And you can do the each way bets where it kind of multis your bet, gives you the player to win, and then also gives you the player to top 10. So we're going to be hitting some of those each way bets with Bet365. So make sure you use code DNVR365 at sign up. You're getting $365 in bonus bets. Betting golf, you're getting big odds. Like you're able to bet $1 and win 10 to 15 to 20, even sometimes 60 or 70 when you have those big favorites like we hit with Nick Taylor this past year. So, and then you can ride those free bets throughout the rest of the season or the year whenever you're betting. So check out Bet365. Use that promo code DNVR365, and you're getting $365 in bonus bets. Our last group of the day, our last friends that we want to talk about, our Factor meal kits, and we just got our Factor delivered yesterday. Phenomenal meal kits. We get about 8 a week between me and my wife, and we don't have to worry about lunch. It's horrible when we run out of them, because then I'm like scraping together some shitty sandwich. So don't do that. Get Factor meal kits. If you use the code Factor meal kits, if you use the code it is DNVR50. That's pretty simple. DNVR50. You're getting 50% off of your box, and it's like you basically get the first box for free or half off, and then they give you so many offers that you continue to get money off of your boxes. They have fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered right to your door. Once again, they're great because you don't have to cook them. You don't have to be a disaster in the kitchen like I usually am. You just put that bitch in the microwave. I don't know if we're supposed to say that on the read, but you toss that pig in the microwave, warm it up for 2 minutes, and you're good to go with a full ass meal. 2.5 minutes. My microwave's weak sauce, so I have to go 2.5. But it's phenomenal food. They've got healthier options. They've got breakfast. They've got smoothies. They've got shakes. So make sure to check out Factor meal kits. Use that promo code DNVR50. and you're saving 50% off your first box. Whoa.
We'll have a good
All right.
discounted box.
Discounted box, my favorite. All right. Do we want to talk a little bit about our boy Sahith Theegala? We had a PGA Tour event. We were off, 2 weeks, and then back on 1 week, and now off again?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know why maybe they usually do this 1 week gap between like why even have one fall event and then take another week off and then the Ryder Cup. It's like, why don't you just start back up after the Ryder Cup ends, kind of build it up? But I mean, for Sahith Theegala, it kind of gave him this opportunity to get his first victory out of the way, which we all knew was going to come eventually. We just didn't know where and when. But big congrats to him. I guess his family was electric. Definitely his parents are like huge supporters of him, which is always awesome to see. And it is also crazy when you think about like how young of a dude he is. Like what is he, probably 25, maybe 26. So he's very young dude. And like to have your parents support like that, I think means a lot. Just super cool for him. I definitely think this will catapult him now that he's gotten that first win out of the way to kind of win some bigger events and non-fall events. And I just think the direction his career is headed is only going to be up from here.
Yeah. Well, do you think he's going to have like that Max Homa level rise? Because remember, Max Homa was the guy that like everybody loved. Sahith was the same. A lot of the guys on Full Swing got a lot of love, which rightfully so.
Won the
But
Fortinet.
he won the Fortnite championship and then turned into like a fucking player. Like turned into it. Sometimes you can speak a little bit more to it than I can because I haven't won anything golf wise in my life other than maybe a few scrambles here and there.
I can't speak much on it.
I mean, you won a fair amount, but like winning this tournament could open up it's like you're kicking down the door. Like I'm here and he's been here and he's been the guy that
your back.
Like, how crazy is it to think that Sahith Theegala won a tournament before Cameron Young?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it happening, but just the fact that Cameron Young has not won yet is pretty wild. I think that if you told everybody else that Cameron Young's already won an event, they wouldn't question it because he's been near the top at majors. And he will win eventually. It's just not a matter of if, a matter of when. But yeah, it is kind of wild to see guys like that you just feel like are kind of that next wave of really talented young dudes. The fact that, Sahith just won for the first time and Cameron Young, guys like that, it really is surprising when you find out that they really haven't won yet. But like I said, I think this could catapult him. His swing is actually very unique. It's not super, like, I wouldn't say technically sound because obviously he's a PGA Tour player, but it's definitely a little bit more non-traditional for a PGA Tour guy to be in a lot of the positions he's in. But talk about a dude that's just got a lot of physical talent and has just grinded his way to being where he's at. So really, like, I know there's a lot of golfers that they say like, oh, he's such a nice dude, he's so this, but he genuinely seems like one of the coolest dudes there is out there. Like he'll sign any autograph because he like it, and they went into it on Full Swing, but he used to be that kid asking for autographs, and now he's the one signing them. So he'll like sign for anybody, he'll talk to anybody, and you love dudes like that, like who recognize where they came from and really appreciate where they're at.
Yeah, well, and his family is just so behind him. You saw that in Full Swing. We've seen that up close in person when we saw him leading the tournament at the Waste Management when we were hanging out on 17, which is the hole after the party hole. That's usually the spot where players come off that hole, and then you're kind of, with our media passes, we're kind of just like alone with them in a little area. It's not as creepy as it sounds, but his whole family was there following along, and it is kind of funny because even though the dudes.
He had like 30 people following him. You remember that?
Yeah, well, and that's not like a one-off thing. That's almost like every tournament the dude has like 20 to 30 people and his family.
His whole family, yeah.
Yeah, they're all wearing the shirts and stuff, which is great. But you can still kind of tell his dad like doesn't completely understand golf, or like you can just tell when somebody doesn't get it, and he didn't get it. Now maybe 2 years later, that he's won and competed and been one of the better players on tour and one of the kind of more up and coming stars for 2+ years. Maybe his dad gets the lingo, but just hearing some of the stuff he said, you just like, fuck, you clearly don't get it, pal, do you?
His dad was probably like, "Did he shoot a birdie there?"
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
That's probably some shit his dad.
That hit went in the water, which is ironically exactly what he said, because Sahith on the 17th hole hit it in the water.
Oh
Left.
yeah, he hooked like
And he's like, that hit went in the water. I was like, oh fuck, God damn it.
Yeah,
And he was just like overly like which is cool, but he's also like overly emotional, which Sahith probably fucking hates. Like those parents that are like,
why aren't you doing better? And it's like, you don't think
yeah,
I'm trying to do better? Like,
yeah,
you don't think I'm trying as hard as I possibly can here? That's the
you
funny
think
thing
I wanted? You think I wanted to hit that one in the water?
Yeah,
No.
like actually, mom and I got a few times. She followed me. She'd be like, "What?" She'd be like, "What was that?" I'm like, "Mom, you're not helping me. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, I need nothing but positivity coming from you because I'm already." That's the thing with golfers is like we don't need any help being negative on ourselves. So we need anybody that's following us to like pump us up because I think we've talked about Spencer caddying for me one time, and I hit one in the water, and he goes, "What the fuck was that?" And then I was even par at that point, and I proceeded to bogey the next 6 holes coming in because I was so pissed off at him. Couldn't have been my own golf game whatsoever. But it did kind of put me on tilt. I'm like, "What the fuck are you saying? You're my caddy, and you're like shit talking me. Like, is this some good cop, bad cop bullshit? Like, you think this is going to motivate me here?" But yeah, like when if any
It's just
PGA
funny to think. It's just funny to think about because golf is not one of those sports where like somebody gets in your face and fucking hypes you up and like helmet to helmets you. You're like, that's not it, dude.
exactly
it's a
like
tough sport and it's hard, but it's not like pump you up good. Like I
yeah.
can get pumped up before a tournament and top one off the first tee just as good as the rest of them.
Yeah, like you can motivate yourself to like focus in golf, but you can't like motivate yourself to put more effort in. Like it's not an effort thing. Like there's guys on the PGA Tour that make it look completely effortless, and then you have a buddy that shoots 100 every weekend and he makes it look like the most work you've ever seen in your life. So it really is like not an effort thing, it's more of a calculated thing. So but yeah, very happy for Sahith. I think maybe we put a future on him to win the waste management this year. It feels like that's kind of his spot where he kind of first got into contention, where he came onto the scene. So now he's got that dub out of the way. Maybe we bet on him to win at the waste management. And we can clip this, and I'll say one of the few times I was right about anything that's ever happened on the PGA Tour. So.
Yeah, well, so finishing out the top 5, we have Sung Han Kim. I actually don't know if that's his name or not. I'm just guessing by the S.H. We got
Just stick with that.
Cam Davis, Eric Cole, and Justin Thomas coming in with a crispy little top 5 finish. Justin Thomas playing in the Fortinet's already an L for him, but at least he finished in the top 5. And I think, not only is he rooting for himself, and there's some real big Justin Thomas fans, but Zach Johnson's back there like, fucking come on, fucking win. I need to fucking validate this shit.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And like you said, like he's already like, is there any other Ryder Cup players playing in a fall season, like off season event? No. So
Max Homa.
Well, okay, but Max has won it twice in a row. He's got to go for the 3P. That's I think different circumstances. But yeah, when I saw Justin Thomas's name on the leaderboard, I was like, ha. But at the same time, like I think Justin Thomas is that he's been, open about his struggles this last year on the golf course, and he's not too proud. I actually respect the fact that he went out and played and is like, hey, I need to have my game in shape. I'm not just going to go over to Rome and fuck around, do whatever, take my wife on a trip early. I'm going to actually play some competitive golf and try to get my game in shape for this upcoming Ryder Cup. So I do respect that.
Yeah, and I honestly am such an idiot. Like I didn't even think Max Homa would play in this tournament because I thought like since they went to Rome, they were just staying out there at the Marco Simone Golf
Yeah,
Club.
you told me that. You're like, well, he's already in Italy. I'm like, they have planes where he can like fly back. Like, I'm pretty sure that, they don't hold you captive in Italy once you're there. Like, you can't leave. Probably like a private jet, like probably just straight from Rome over to California. So yeah, that was actually pretty funny when you said that. I'm like, you just think they're staying there for like a month? Like, how much prep do you think these guys need at this golf course?
Well, I don't know about necessarily the golf course prep, and these guys are pros, but for me, it would be like when I was in London, it took me, I would like the 6th or 7th day, I finally got like a sleep schedule and got acclimated to the time change. So I'm guessing they're probably already back out there with the PGA Tour being off this week. They probably went out earlier this week and preparing for next weekend. But like that'd fuck me up, dude, playing. And I know they do it in the middle of the season with the Open Championship, and then I can't believe some of the guys that go out there for the Open Championship and then come right back and play the week after that. Like I'd be like half asleep playing golf.
That is a good point. I mean,
which is how I play golf. If you look at my scorecard or watch the shots I hit, it feels like I'm fucking half asleep, but I'm trying. I'm awake. I'm here.
I'm giving it 100%. But no, I mean, that is a good point, because a lot of those European tour guys are used to that time change on a weekly basis. Like, they're going from Dubai to England, back over to like Turkey. They play all over the freaking place, to South Africa, to, you name Norway, you name it, they're playing it. And I don't know if all those, there's definitely different time zones. I'm not saying all those are in different time zones, but they deal with that more over in Europe on a week in, week out basis. But I don't know about golf, but I know there was some hockey players that, like, when they played in Russia, because I think there's like 3 or 4 time zones in Russia. So like, I think, or maybe even 5, like if you go from like the western side of Russia to the eastern side, it's like, I want to say maybe even a 6 or 7 hour time difference. I guess it's insane. So when these guys knew that they were going to go out there and play a few days in advance, it's almost kind of like elevation training. But they would put themselves on the sleep schedule they would be in that time zone. So like, if it was like 3 a.m, their time, but the other time it was like 10 p.m. or 9 p.m., they would go to sleep at that time and then wake up at like 11 or noon or whatever, kind of like trying to sync their sleep schedule with the time zone they're going to be in. So I don't know if golfers go that advanced and kind of think far enough ahead to do that, but it wouldn't be a bad idea, because that is the one thing, like you said, can be a disadvantage. If you wake up at 7 a.m. and it feels like, or you're waking up at 2 a.m. because it feels like it's time to wake up, because it's whatever, in a different time zone. I'm fucking that up, but that's not surprising. That is a big disadvantage for the American players.
I get it. Yeah, 100%. All right, before we finish up this pod with some things on social media that annoy us, I want to shout out myself. I got some new clubs. I don't have them yet, but I ordered some new clubs. I am now a PXG fam. If you haven't heard or watched the YouTube video from a couple weeks ago, go check it out. We had a great time at PXG, got fitted. I hit the new driver, got a free one. I went back into the lab with my boy Bobby, and he hooked it up. I got full new set of PXG Gen 6 irons, 4 through P wedge. Really excited to get those in the bag. And it's going to kind of like, this is like when golf season winds down for me a little mentally, but I haven't played much since I had this turd. So it's no, I'm just kidding. He's not turd. Love the kid. Since I had this kid, I haven't really got the chance to play much with work and stuff. So I'm playing in the tournament tomorrow, but that'll be the last time I play with these clubs. And then I'll get some new ones, but it might force me to want to get out a little more, even when it's a little chillier in like late September, early October, late October even. That's a great time to play. I know that's a great time to play golf, but the club should be in about a week and a half. So I might take Mr. Baby and go on a few range sessions, because I'm going to want to hit those. Like, I've only got to hit those obviously in the simulator. So we'll see if I can get a little less toe and a little less fat when I get out on the driving range. But First time I've gotten new clubs in 3 years, and the first time I've paid for golf clubs since I was like 16 or 17. So it's going to be
It's
a while.
a harsh reality that you have to deal with.
It is, and now I understand like all the annoying members and stuff, the people that pay like 10, 1,500, $2,000, thousands of dollars for these clubs, like why they're so fucking stingy and cranky about them. Now, granted, they're usually in a different money pot than I am, like a different tier. But it is, I wasn't a pain in the ass, but Bobby did a real good job. If you want to get fitted just in general and just kind of see the process, head down to PXG Denver. It's an awesome spot. Bobby's the shit. But he went through it pretty thoroughly. We tried some clubs that were upright. I fucking hated them. I'm glad I'm away from that move. We went standard loft, standard lie. And then we went with
real in-depth fitting, standard everything.
A 1/4 inch long. And then just the right shaft. The right shaft, you dickhead. There was a few shafts I hit that I was like not a fan of, but then I got in the right one. He kept like pushing me in and out of that one. Like we'd hit that one, and he's like, he knew, as a fitter, you kind of know, but did a thorough job and tested everything. So he went through a few different shafts with me, but then we found the right one. Back to Project X, where I've always loved and always been. And I'm excited. I'm excited to get some new sticks and open the box and be a PXG guy. What do you think about me being a PXG guy? Is that I can see the look on your face. If you're not watching our podcast on YouTube, check it out. YouTube.com, Big Drive Energy. All our podcasts are on there. We've got shorts on there, just like TikTok, Instagram, etc. But what are your initial thoughts on me being a PXG guy?
Well, it's not as much of a problem with you being a PXG guy. I mean, it is a little douchey. I'm not gonna lie, but it's partially because when you're like, so when you were naming your son, you were thinking of names and like associating them with people and so you kind of like that name or don't like that name based on the person with that name. Like PXG, the reason I don't like it is because of the people I know that play PXG. So it's
I'm only making that worse for you.
Yeah. Oh, it's just bottom of the barrel for me now. But just in the most typical fashion, Spencer fashion, he wins that new driver and immediately goes, I'll come in next week, get fitted for a full new set of irons. Like, they ended up making money on the deal by bringing us in and giving Spencer a free driver. So I wouldn't say Spencer's a big pushover. I'm not saying he's a pushover here, but it was just like the easiest. They literally, Bobby's like, if you ever want anything, Spencer's like, I'll be here next week. Like, fucking.
That is accurate.
I'll give you my credit card. Just take it out tonight. Take your wife to dinner. Fucking do whatever you want. Like, Spencer was very much like on board right off the bat, which I don't blame him for. But I will just say, if I would have won the free PXG driver, I wouldn't have just been going to, drop a couple grand there the next week. But yeah, it will be a little odd seeing PXG in your bag for the 6 times a year that you play. But I did actually hit those irons when we were at PXG Denver, and they did feel very good. So I'm not going to knock them. The top line looks great. From behind, they're not my favorite. They're not the most aesthetically pleasing to me, but they're not my golf clubs. I don't have to look at them. So, but yeah, the PXG, there's definitely a stigma around that. So if you don't know, it's kind of just you figure it out. You meet people that play PXG and you're like, okay, now I get it. So you're that guy now.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely that guy, but I don't know why. It feels like it gives me a little bit of like clout. Like, I feel like if somebody looks at my bag, they're like, I feel like nobody that doesn't really know how to play the game of golf plays PXG. And maybe that's like, I don't know. It feels like it's a big enough investment, and it's a big enough part of like golf, and it's a niche company that you at least have an idea. You look like you have an idea of what you're doing when you're playing them. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not, but like when I see somebody with a bag of PXGs, I'm like, oh, they're like into the game. Like, they're not like, they didn't just get, like, nobody gives away PXGs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see it going one of two directions. It's either you know what you're doing, or you just got fleeced at a fitting and like, this is your first set of clubs and you just dropped $5,000 and you're an idiot. So
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but it's pretty clear what I am in, and I know what I'm doing.
yeah, that's all relative. But let's get to the social media shit, because there's, with golf blowing up these last few years, it's always, I love the fact that the game has grown so much, but these meme accounts just get so old and annoying to me. And I have so many buddies fucking send me memes all the time. And I don't, I don't not love the memes. Like, I'm in a committed relationship, so I've got no Instagram DMs from females. I've got, that's just a thing of the past. All my Instagram DMs are just dudes sending me fucking golf memes all day. But some are funny and some are just kind of like misused. And there's a few trends that really like just are annoying to me, and I don't find them funny at all. So give us a few of yours, Spence, and I'll give you a few of mine.
Well, I'll start with, we're on kind of other sides of the coin on this. I'm still like the lame, like I think some golf memes are funny. But that one today that you sent, did you send me that?
Yeah,
Where the
the
guy
dude that wanted to
rips his shirt off and he says, "I've been to heaven."
Yeah, this body's been to heaven. You want to what? Oh, dude, what did he call the guy? He called him like a fucking. Oh, it was just some hilarious ass term.
One of the most absolutely unhinged videos you'll ever see in your life, especially on a golf course. But no, I like the golf memes, but I think sometimes like it's just everybody's just throwing the same, there's a spot for really well executed memes. But I think most of all, it's like, I think the biggest annoyance for me is whenever we do like our TikTok videos and people are like, oh, I just, go out on the course and, the one we did about the dinner, they were like, oh, I just skip that, go to dinner and then go right back out. And they don't, it's just the assholes that do the things that we're making them look like. We're doing our TikToks so people recognize when they're in the wrong and when they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. It's really not that hard to follow the rules. Like, and it's not, you have to follow every rule and drop here and drop from your knee and, not hit 3 off the tee or whatever, all this, crazy rules that get into golf. But just the idea of like, that it's a business. Yes, it's a game. Yes, you can get fucked up. Yes, you can drive a cart around, act like an idiot for 4.5, 5 hours. But there's still like people that make their livelihood us on that business of the game. So as much as I try not to be a stick in the mud about that stuff, like the people that comment are like, oh, this is, fucking what I do every week. Like you're the asshole that people don't like.
Well, yeah, and I think it boils down to more of just like, how many people do we know in this world that are just have no self-awareness? That is those people on the golf course. They have no self-awareness. They have no awareness for how they're affecting other people. Like, just be aware of the people around you. And that's what people don't do. They say common sense is not so common kind of thing. So I would agree that shit bugs me. I've got a few here that just, I think are dumb to me. That are kind of funny, but also just like stupid and like worthless. Kids standing in front of their buddies hitting shots and just like getting absolutely annihilated by like teeing up a ball between your ass cheeks and then your buddy chunks it and just demolishes your ass cheek and it looks like you got hit by a car. Like, that's not worth the 230 views it's going to get on TikTok. That your asshole is going to be permanently damaged from that. Like, I don't find that like hilarious, or when somebody's standing in front of a simulator with their legs spread and the other kid just like fucking pelts him right in the back of the leg. That shit's just stupid to me. Like, that's not funny. That's just dumb.
It's not funny, but I think along those same lines, one of the funniest videos I ever saw was like the guy that's hooked up to a taser, and if he missed the green, he gets tased. That shit is one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen.
One of the funniest ever things was Chichi Rodriguez. Remember when the big break was a thing?
Yeah.
And they were doing the glass breaking challenge. Do you remember that? And Chichi Rodriguez was trying to hit a stinger at this little glass window pane, and it was a wood frame around it. He hits the wood. It comes back like full velocity right in his balls. and like it
Well,
drops
that
in.
just that just happened the other day. That was one of the viral videos from this last week. Is somebody hit an iron shot and it was like, I'm never playing golf again. Hits the tee marker, Parker Sperry style, and then it comes backwards and hits the dude right in the nuts.
Parker catching strays. Another thing that I don't find hilarious is teenagers like getting into fights on the golf course, like fighting over God knows what. Like your buddy didn't give you your 3-footer for triple bogey, or who knows. But you see all these like country club kids getting in fights. I think that shit's just dumb. It's not really funny, and it just makes you look like an idiot. Like, it's those people that still think it's like cool to get in bar fights. Like, it's not. It's never been cool. It's not cool. Just put your dick away, act like a normal human being, and play golf.
Yeah, the idea that like a golf course is a place where people get so pissed off at each other that they act like that dude today, or in the video that we saw today where he said his body's been to heaven, and just like stealing other people's ball. Like overall, it's just a game. And so people that take it to that level, it's wild to me. Like
Yeah.
I've been mad at myself on the golf course or mad at the golf course, but I've never considered that idea essentially.
I agree. And my last thing I had written down was just dudes hitting stingers for like no reason and them like going viral. Like I don't necessarily understand the obsession with like stinger TikTok, because there's dudes like there's this one dude who just hits stingers on like every shot, and I'm like, I feel like you'd be better off, and I know it's obviously for the video, but why are you hitting stingers in places you don't need to hit stingers? Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. And these kids just like cream their jeans over these dudes hitting low golf shots on TikTok. Like, I will say one guy that I could watch hit stingers all day is Minwoo Lee, because that dude creates world-class ball speed and has world-class control over his golf ball. But like just these random guys that go out and hit these fucking low rising, golf shots that do numbers on TikTok. I just, for the life of me, it's like everybody's out there trying to hit stingers now, which really your goal is to like get the ball up in the air and like land it on the green. So that's just one of those trends to me that just doesn't make any fucking sense. I'm like, why are you like, sure, it looks cool, but it's not really like quote unquote that hard to do. And it's also just kind of stupid in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's the people that like haven't fully gotten into the full like game. Like I bet you a lot of the people that get really stoked about the stingers are the ones that can't hit them. So like to them, that's an incredible feat. I do like the like skipping balls over the water is pretty fun. But yeah, I do agree. There's some things out, like social media is just blown up, and golf social media is like a fun place to be most of the time, where you can learn a lot of information if you're following guys like Lou Stagner or even Michael Kim. I'm going to keep tweeting Michael Kim until he comes on our pod. He hasn't responded yet, but I'm not going to stop trying. But no, super informative about, what the game's like for a mid-level tour player, his ball deals, club deals, all that stuff, traveling. Like that's the stuff people really like to see. And so that part of social media is good, but all that, like people running over each other in golf carts, you're like, dude, you're an idiot. Or, purposely sending the golf cart and breaking it. Like that's $4,000, 4,500, depending upon, what they end up breaking or, entirely ruining the course or the golf cart. Like all that shit just annoys me. And I know we're old, but we've seen it from the other end. So that shit's just annoying.
Yeah. Basically,
let's go viral,
Yeah. Doing anything to get clicks is like the dumbest shit to me. Like that's just cringy to me in general, not just in golf, but if you're like, pissing other people off, wrecking merchandise, wrecking some physical place because you want to get clicks, then you're a fucking loser.
You're an L7 weenie.
Correct.
I do want to give a quick shout out to Justin Serbo. When I told him I got PXGs, he asked me if I bought the iron covers that go on them.
Oh, fuck. You probably should, just to make sure everybody knows you have PXGs.
No, yeah, 100%.
Shout out to your son Sawyer. We did this all in one take. Is he still zonked out?
Dude's still passed out. I'm gonna go grab him right after we finish this. But well done. Talk about knowing your surroundings at the ripe age of 11 weeks old. He's fucking
Do
getting
your
it.
job.
What a kid. What a guy. Clap it up for this fucking
gamer.
man.
Yeah, give him a round of applause.
Love it. Well, that wraps up this week's episode of Big Drive Energy. We'll be back next week. We've got a special edition of Big Drive Energy, Ryder Cup edition. We're going to preview the Ryder Cup. We're going to preview the golf course, the players, and then we're going to rank the players. I'm taking the United States team. Mitchell's taking the European team on how American or how European they are. We're going to go through their social medias. We're going to rank 1 to 12 all the players, and it's going to be on YouTube. So we're going to have some graphics packages with it. Make sure you check it out on the YouTube. That'll come out probably next Wednesday at some point. So make sure you check us out on YouTube at Big Drive Energy, on the X at Big Drive Energy, and on Instagram at Big Drive Energy Pod, same as TikTok at Big Drive Energy.
And we are going to be doing a Saturday, kind of a live reaction, not this upcoming Saturday, but the next Saturday from our CHGO studio. So that's going to be badass. We'll kind of cover the first 3 days of the Ryder Cup, make our Sunday predictions and all that from out in CHGO, where we will be attending the Broncos-Bears clusterfuck game of the year. So
Broncos-Bears 0-3. Who's getting their first dub of the year fucking scenario?
Yeah, who can fuck it up less type of deal.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's it for us this week. Enjoy your weekend. Get prepped for the Ryder Cup. A lot of early mornings, but we love those early mornings when golf is on. I did see, speaking of memes, I'll wrap it up with this. It was like I got sent a golf meme that was like when you get taken to HR for wearing your Ryder Cup gear to work, and it was like when Will Ferrell had the American flag thong on.
That is pretty good. That's
shit like that. It just kind of hits my funny bone.
Yeah, no, that's good classic shit. That's wholesome.
Good wholesome humor. All right, we're out. Peace.
Peace.